if I'm paying €35 for an eyeshadow, I want amazing, not just nice. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video we have some new makeup to take a look at. So I've got some new Charlotte Tilbury, got some Laura Mercier, some Nars, some Fenty, some Too Faced, and today I'm going to be telling you what I think is worth your money and what you can probably skip. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. The only makeup that I have on are on my eyebrows. I don't have anything else on my face apart from my skin prep. We are going to kick off with the eyes today. So we're going to have a look at these. These are the Charlotte Tilbury Exagger-Eyes Easy Eyeshadow Sticks. Everything I'm using today I have already fully tested, so I can really give you my opinion on them. These sticks retail for €32, and for that you get 1.6 grams of product. These claim to be crease-proof, waterproof, fade-proof sticks which deliver high-impact, buildable colour with a silky smooth glide. They come in an array of universally flattering shades in matte and satin finishes that are perfect for sculpting, defining, lifting and highlighting. I picked up a satin shade and I picked up a matte shade as well. So I have the shade Mink Sculpt. I also picked up Oyster Twilight. So here's Mink, which is the matte shade, and then Oyster Twilight, which is a satin. So I'm just going to show you now some comparisons against some other eyeshadow sticks that I have. I am going to use both of these today. I've just got a MAC 217 here just to blend out any edges. So as far as I am aware, these are promoted as an eyeshadow stick that you do not need to prep with, and I honestly don't prep with eyeshadow sticks ever. And I'm going to start off with Mink Sculpt, which is the matte shade. When I was looking at the claims, these claim to be suitable to use everywhere, so you can actually use these on the face. Now I haven't done that yet. I will, probably not today because I have a bronzer to use and I don't want to interfere with it, but these are supposed to be yeah, kind of multi-use sticks. Just gonna bring it everywhere. Just the easiest things to blend out, like anybody could do this, genuinely. Mink Sculpt is described as a tawny rose brown, and I've tested these out on their own, but interestingly enough, the first day that I got these, because I was so excited, I just took them out and swatched them on my hand and kind of forgot about them. And at the end of the day, the satin had lasted way better than the matte. The matte had disappeared, but the satin hadn't. I actually really appreciate the big kind of crayon. The packaging, by the way, I did want to mention that before I talk about the performance of these. I don't really know how I feel about this packaging. It's a bit much. I find these so easy to work with. In fact, I would go as far to say that these are the easiest eyeshadow sticks I've probably ever used. Some eyeshadow sticks, I feel like I have to really scribble on the eyes, whereas I don't get that with these. These are very effortless. Now I'm going to go over it with this Oyster Twilight. This is a really nice shade. I like these, but I don't love them. I don't know whether it's just me, but I found that they can be a little patchy at times. So yesterday I wore the matte all day and it was a long, long day. So put my makeup on at 6 and took it off at 10 p.m. I usually would expect my eyeshadow sticks just to look pristine at the end of the day. Generally they adhere to my eyelids and they stay because I've got dry eyelids. But I did notice that with the matte, I felt like it faded a little bit patchy. And I don't know whether that's in my head or not. Don't think these wear as good as some of my other eyeshadow sticks. So I don't really get creasing with them. I mean, I might today, but I don't really find that I get a lot of creasing with them at all. I don't know. They're just not my favourite. I'm conflicted. I like the formula and how easy they are to use, but I'm not 100% sure that they are lasting very well on my eyes. And that makes me think that if you have oilier eyelids, then I'm not sure how you would get on with these, honestly. They're not the absolute best that I've ever tried, put it that way. But still nice. They're just nice. But for €35, I want more than nice. So I picked up a new mascara and it's one from Too Faced. I don't think this is particularly brand new, but I wanted to try this because I am the biggest fan of drugstore mascaras and I find it really hard to find good high-end mascaras, and this is coming from somebody who used to wear nothing but high-end mascaras, by the way. So my current favourite is the Maybelline Sky Tubes, and so I thought I would pick up this mascara because it is a tubing mascara and I want to see if it outperforms my Maybelline. This retails for €32 and it claims to be a tubing mascara which creates extreme length and dramatic lash separation for up to 24 hours without clumping, smudging or flaking. In my head, because I am a big fan at the moment of the Maybelline, I am obviously comparing it to that, which is natural. I think if you tried this, I think you'd like it. I think it's a decent mascara. It gives a bit more volume for sure than the Maybelline does. And also, this one doesn't dry down as fast as the Maybelline does. So that's two things I guess this has over the Maybelline. I do feel like this is a little bit more of a wetter formula than the Maybelline, and I don't know if you can see I've got it on my eyelid there because the brush does retain a fair bit of product, whereas I feel like the Maybelline doesn't, but I'm not worried about that because it will just flick off. I'm just going to let it dry. Yeah, this is easy to apply. You know, doesn't take a whole lot of effort. One thing I do prefer about this mascara is that I find it is much more user-friendly than the Maybelline because it gives you more time to work. I find that it is easier to layer. However, I will say that it's not as easy to remove as the Maybelline at all. The Maybelline will remove in about 3 seconds with just some warm water, whereas this one actually I find removes better with micellar water. But yeah, I like the volume that this gives me. I think it gives really nice length. In fact, this is probably the best I've seen my eyelashes look with this mascara on. That is a fact. I knew that would happen. So I was saying that the Maybelline is better and now my eyelashes look really good today. I mean, of course they do. Look, I think it just boils down to this question. If I had to choose between the Too Faced and the Maybelline, I would go for the Maybelline, and that's all I wanted to say really. But mascara is so personal, so what works for me might not work for you. So we're going to look at this next product in 2 parts. So the first part before I put any foundation on, and then we will take a look at it again once my foundation is complete. So it's this product from Laura Mercier. This is the Secret Camouflage Complexion Perfector. Okay, she always has such long names for her products. This is actually a reformulation of her original Camouflage palette, but it is looking a little bit different. So whereas you had 2 shades in the previous one, you now have 3. However, that's not the only change. So this product used to have 5.9 grams, but it has now been reduced to 3.2. Yeah, I know. And it will set you back around €33. So there are 8 colour stories to choose from, and I went for 0 to light. And I did find this really hard to swatch on my hand, by the way, which is why those swatches are pretty poor. So this claims to be a palette with 3 full coverage, long wearing cream concealer shades. Matte finish, waterproof, great for uneven skin tone, long wearing. Look, I've been testing this out really thoroughly. I'm going to say that part of the reason that these swatches are so poor is that it's really hard to access the shades. Like physically, practically, it's very hard to access the shades because in here you have a neutral, you have a warm, and you have a cool, which I think is absolutely genius. However, only the neutral compartment is big enough for my finger, big enough for my concealer brush. So I have to use a specific brush in order to use these smaller shades. And honestly, I don't think you get a lot of product in here. I don't think you get enough at all. So when I compare it to the previous formula, you got almost 6 grams of product. When I compare it to my other favorite cream concealer, which is this one from Nars, this contains 6 grams of product. So honestly, without sounding like a broken record lately, I think something is going on with Laura Mercier because, you know, we got 5 grams with the blurring balm, which is ridiculous. And now we're getting 3.2 grams in this. It's just not acceptable. No, it's not. However, what I will say is this is an absolutely brilliant product. It really is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to show you how I use it, and the brush that I'm going to be using for this is the BK Beauty. It's an Angie Hot and Flashy brush. It's the A501. It's out of the travel set. And you can see that the size of the eyeshadow brush is just perfect to go into these little compartments. Yeah, they are troublesome. It comes with a mirror though, so that's good. So I'm going to take my brush first of all, and I'm going to go into this inner corner here. Now, because it's a little bit bluey, I'm going to go in with the cooler shade, but just going in here and just tapping it in. And this, the one thing I'm going to tell you is that this, my gosh, once it sets down, it does not even budge. Now, this is not the type of product that I'm going to bring like a normal liquid concealer. This is it's very strategic where I place it, because I genuinely think that under eye concealer should be like that anyway. You know, finding the points that need a bit of concealing and using those shades there. Now I'm continuing with the cool, and I'm going over this vein, but what I have found is neutral works really nicely over the blue veins as well. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of the neutral too, kind of mix them together. This, honestly, I had this on for 14 hours yesterday and it worked beautifully, like literally so well. You can see that it's very full coverage, but it doesn't feel heavy at all. Now, I'm going to say I haven't been using it here. I am going to use a liquid concealer there, because this is the part of my face that really moves. So you see there where I've got my fine lines. I don't really want to stick a cream product in that area, if I'm completely honest with you. That's just my personal preference. But can you see how well that's covered up my issues? I don't think I've had a concealer, honestly, that's covered up my issues as much as this. Here, I don't really have as much darkness, but I'm still going to go in with that cool shade again and just bring it where the contour of my eye is. Honestly, I think this is just about playing around and seeing which undertone works best. Often we've got a mixture of colours going on our faces, and that is completely normal. This brush is great, by the way. Just the Angie Hot and Flashy set, the travel set, they're some of my most used brushes, honestly. So, look at that coverage. I mean, so good. So, so good. Let's go in with the warmer shade and just bring it in the inner corner, just where I've got all this darkness from my deep set eyes. This is great. It's a great palette, this. Oh my gosh. I am literally at the point where I don't think I could be without this now. I never tried the original, by the way, because I know people are going to ask me that. I never had the original. See how that's just brightened up my eyes? This is such a good product, genuinely. Okay, so I'm going to go and throw on just a little bit of foundation, and then we'll come back and we will work on a couple of different areas of the face. So just give me a mo. I just put a little bit of my L'Oreal Balm on, and also I used a little bit of the new NYX Wonder Snatch concealer just in the outer corner. And this is a really good concealer, but again, not a lot of product, but I really do like it. So I've just used a tiny bit on the outer corner. I'm going to go in with this neutral shade, and I'm going to go up here to my hyperpigmentation using the same brush. And I'm just going to pop it over here. Neutral, I find, is the best shade here because it is more akin to my skin tone. And honestly, the concealing on this is just ridiculous. The great thing about this product is it feels so incredibly lightweight. However, at the same time, it works so well. So I'm gonna use a little bit of warm with the neutral over here, and I'm just gonna pat it in. Now, although I feel like it gives a really good level of coverage, I did find that after 14 hours yesterday, it did fade and there was no coverage left on my head. But that's not unusual, to be quite honest with you. Right, I'm gonna go over. Can you see I've got some blue veins on my temples, which I'm not actually bothered about, but I'm going to show you how I conceal those. So for that, I'm going into the Cool. And this actually works so brilliantly. It literally erases them. So if you have some blue veins around the face or blue discoloration, this is so good. And again, just play around with the different shades. This is so good. It's so, so good. For the redness on my nose, I'm going to go in with a bit of the warm shade. I'm just going to tap that in. Again, I've had such amazing success with this palette. I don't find it drying. Even under my eyes, I don't find it creasy at all. But I think less is definitely more in that respect. So just going around my nose area. It blends seamlessly, feels lightweight, just feels non-existent, honestly. How many times do I want to say honestly in a video? I have a particular brush that I use just for under my eyebrows. It's just this one. It's a really old one from Morphe, so don't ask me what it's called because I don't know. I'm going to go into the neutral shade and you can use this under the eyebrows. I genuinely rate this product. I think it's one of the best concealers I've ever used. I mean, in comparison to the Nars, it's more lightweight. I think I might like it better than the Nars, and that's saying something because this Nars Pot Concealer is just so good. But if we're talking value for money, is it worth it? Oh my gosh. I think if you are going to use this strategically, if you're going to use it minimally like I did, I mean, I didn't use a lot then and I've covered all of my darkness. I'm so happy with this. It just sits so beautifully under the eyes. It doesn't move, it doesn't crease, it just sets down and stays there, and it doesn't need to be set either. I can say that if I ran out of this, I would repurchase it, but it's definitely something worth considering and thinking about. But do I think it's a great product? Oh, wow. Yeah, I really, really do. So I finally got my hands on the new Fenty Bronzer. This is the Stalk'r Soufflé Cream Bronzer. Look at that packaging. Oh, isn't that just so gorgeous? So this retails for €38, and for that you get 15 grams of product. So this claims to be a lightweight pressed mousse cream formula that blends seamlessly, doesn't fade, and delivers a natural blurred finish that stays put all day. So there are 8 shades to choose from, and I went for Churro Twist, which is light, medium to medium with golden neutral undertones. Honestly, I think I should have gone for Biscotti because not that it's too dark, I think it's just too warm for me. I'm kind of regretting the shade a little bit, but it still works. So let me just show you a little comparison with some other bronzer shades that I have. So at the top, you've got the new Fenty in the shade Churro Twist. Then you've got the Makeup by Mario in light medium. That's the skin enhancer. Next, you have the new Morphe Cheek Thrills Duos. This is in the shade Maui Surf. Next, we have the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade 2 Medium. Next, we have the Merit Stick Bronzer in the shade Sen. And lastly, we have the Dior 03 Light Medium. You can see out of all of these shades, which are all go-to shades for me, this is particularly warm, isn't it? But anyway, I'm going to show you on the skin. I really feel like they missed an opportunity to give us a mirror here. I feel like they should have done that. So I'm going to go in with another Angie Hot and Flashy brush from BK Beauty. This is the A507. And do you know what? This is it's a really unique formula, this. When you touch it, I thought it was going to be really, really moussey, but it's not at all. It feels quite powdery, and I was not expecting it. Not creamy feeling. Now, I know people have been pressing their finger in to show that it is squishy. I've not done that because I don't want to ruin it, but I would say that this feels like more of a powdery formula, honestly. Although I am not enamored with the shade and it is a little warmer than what I would go for, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. So it gives a real, I would say, a soft matte finish. And I don't think I've had a longer lasting bronzer than this. This is phenomenally fade resistant, so unbelievably long lasting. Bearing in mind, I do have drier skin, but I just find it just honestly foolproof. If you are one of those people that message me to say, I'd love to try creams, but I'm a little bit scared, this would be a great first dip into a cream type product. Because for me, this is very cream to powder, but not even that. When you touch it, it doesn't feel like a cream. It's very dry, but not in a bad way. Does that make sense? So you can see there's no radiance to it at all. It kind of feels a little bit velvety. I've never really tried a bronzer like this before at all, ever. It's very natural slash soft matte on my skin and it's gorgeous. I think I was just expecting it to be a bit squishy and moussey, but it's a pressed mousse formula. So I think that's why it feels so unique. And I'm not sure if you can see on camera, but this is incredibly blurring as well. I would highly recommend. The only thing I would say is go and look at the shades and really, really look into the shade that you're going to get. I do have to say 15 grams of product. That is more like it, isn't it? Fenty are not disappointing me at all at the moment. So good. So we're going to move on to a new blush from Nars. I finally got it. This is the Nars Insatiable Liquid Blush. And oh my gosh, I was so excited to try this, and even more excited because I can't remember the last time I featured a new Nars product on the channel. So I was ultra excited to pick this up. This claims to be a long-lasting liquid blush which melts seamlessly into the skin for a natural glow or a bold, buildable flush. It has an ultralight formula which lasts for up to 16 hours of fade-proof wear. This actually retails for €39, but for that you get 8.5ml of product. So I picked up the shade Calor, which is described as a dusty rose shade, and I went through some of my other liquid blushes and tried to find a few similar ones just to show you as a comparison. So at the top here we have Calor in the new Nars blush. Next we have Rare Beauty in the shade Worth It. Next one down is the NYX Fat Cheeks liquid blush in the shade Fig Fizz. And lastly, I have the Hourglass liquid blush in the shade Scene. So those are kind of similar, but this is really, really pretty on. I'm going to just apply one dot. Now, as it says in the literature, you can build this up. I'm using my BK Beauty 109 brush for this. So I'm just going to start tapping that in, and you can see there how one dot just gives you the most really subtle flush of colour. But you know I don't go for subtle blush. No, I do not. I like loads of it. So I'm just going to build this up. I love this. So I would say on my neutral olive skin, this comes out as a true rosy shade. And genuinely, I can say that this is, it's just the perfect everyday blush, everyday shade. I am so happy that I picked this up. I was going to go for one. Oh no, I think I'm going to regret putting all that on. I did initially look at some of the really cool shades, but I would say that this just leans very neutral, and that's what makes it perfect for any makeup look that I'm going for. It makes it perfect for every day. I know it doesn't take a whole lot to impress me with blush. Come on, it's so nice, it's so pretty. Now, people might ask me to compare this to my recent favourite from Fenty, the Shake and Play. So I think that, right, the first thing I'll say is the Fenty Shake and Play liquid blush is the most long-lasting liquid blush ever, like ever. I think the difference between the two, I mean, I love them both equally. I think the difference between the two is the Fenty has more payoff straight off the bat, so no more than 2 dots with the Fenty. This one is more customizable, I would say. So I think if you are more of a no blush, what am I trying to say? If you like sheer blush, I think you can get this from the Nars really easily, whereas I think with the Fenty you need to be a little bit more careful because it's highly pigmented. I'd say that the Fenty has more of a natural finish, whereas this is definitely more satin. So as far as I'm aware, you can get this in satin or you can get a shimmer finish. If you're looking for a natural finish bordering on soft matte, I would go for the Fenty, but if you want more of a satin finish, then yeah, you'll go for this. How pretty is that? It's just so gorgeous. Out of everything today, this is probably my favorite product. It is, yeah. I mean, you're not surprised, are you? Because I just love blush. I mean, look at the state of me. Can I get any more blush on my face? Let me just put some lips on and we'll look at the whole finished look. So let's just talk for a little minute about which products I would recommend and which ones I wouldn't. And I just want to start off with these eyeshadow sticks from Charlotte Tilbury. I think these have been the most confusing product for me. I believe we have to take each one individually, so the matte versus the satin. And I think in my experience, I've had better success with the satin than the matte. The matte tends to get a little bit more faded towards the end of the day than the satin does. But again, we're still in the early stages. It's only been a week of me testing these. And do you know what? I do really like them, but I think I just expected a little bit more than what I got. Again, without sounding like a broken record, if I'm paying €35 for an eyeshadow, I want amazing, not just nice. This little palette from Laura Mercier, the appropriate word here being little, this is incredible. It's so good. I think this is one of the best cream concealers I've ever used. But the amount is tiny, isn't it, in comparison to what you used to get, in comparison to other brands. So it really is, it's down to you. Do you think it's worth it? Would I repurchase this? Yes, I actually would repurchase this because I think it is fairly flawless. I really, really do. I can tell you it's a great product, but whether you're going to get your money's worth, that's a different story, and only you can decide that. I think the mascara looks really, really good today. It's looked the best it's ever looked, to be fair to it. So yes, I like this, but would I pick it over my Maybelline? Probably not. My favourite two products, the Fenty Bronzer. Oh, so long lasting, so flawless, so beautiful, so blurring, and honestly will last you from noon until night. And this liquid blush from Nars. I'm getting another shade of this for sure. In fact, I would be tempted to get a couple. I know it's expensive, I know it is, but you don't need to use a lot of these. Honestly, these are very pigmented, but I feel like you can get customizable coverage from it as well. But these two, they're as top tier as you are going to get, and that is a fact. Please do let me know, have you tried any of these products? Are you planning on picking any up, or are you running a million miles? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video, but until then, take care and bye for now.